This is the Greg Tanner Mortgage Show with Greg Tanner, powered by Nations Lending.
Good morning, everyone. This is Greg Tanner with Nations Lending. Thanks so much for listening in. Today is Wednesday, February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. All of you guys out there, I hope you remembered yesterday was Valentine's Day and you got your sweetie something nice. And ladies, I hope that you got everything that you deserved. Today, what I wanted to bring you was a question that we get quite often around earnest money. And basically what an earnest money deposit is, it's a deposit that's showing a buyer's good faith in a real estate transaction. So when you purchase a home, you write that first contract, you're going to put down a deposit. And that deposit can range from, I've seen as low as $250 up to several $1,000s. It really just depends on the seller, depends on the purchase price of the home, depends on if the property's, REO, meaning it's owned by a bank. So there's several factors that go into determining how much the earnest money deposit is. But typically we see in this area $500 to $1,000. That money's going to be held into a trust account or an escrow account, and it's going to be applied towards any funds that the buyer will have to bring to closing. So you're going to get credit for that at closing. Now, the next question we get is, how can earnest money be paid? The number one way that we see most often, and what's a preference for lenders, is to be paid via personal check. And the reason is that we can tie that directly to your checking account, and we can trace that money or track that money. So make sure that if that's our preference, is to write a check out to, typically it's going to be either an escrow officer or a title company, attorney's office, or sometimes it's going to be the brokers, the listing agent, the broker for the listing agent. So your realtor will be able to help you with that. So check would definitely be the very first preference we would have. The second is you can do a cashier's check. And a cashier's check's acceptable. We just need to make sure that we have some sort of paper trail there. So if you're going to use a cashier's check, you would just go down to your bank, withdraw the amount of money that the earnest money deposit is going to be for, and then you're going to get a cashier's check made out to who your realtor advises you who to make that out to. Make sure that you're keeping a copy of your withdrawal slip. Make a copy of the cashier's check. And then just know that lenders will probably ask you for a bank statement later showing where those monies were withdrawn from your checking account or savings account, depending on where the money comes from. The third thing that we see sometimes is we do see money orders from time to time. That's not our favorite, just because they're normally not as trackable or traceable as we would like. But if you are going to do a money order, just make sure that you're withdrawing the money from your checking or savings. You're keeping the withdrawal slip. You know that we're going to ask you for a copy of your bank statement showing where those funds came out. You would need to make the withdrawal for the exact amount of the money order. So if the earnest money deposit is going to be $500, just make sure that you're withdrawing $500, and then go get the money order the very same day and make copies of the money order as well. And that is acceptable. We just need to make sure that we have a very good paper trail on that. So definitely talk to your lender about that prior to doing that if you are going to use a money order. It's important to remember that these funds do need to come from you as the buyer. So make sure they're coming out of your checking account, out of your savings account, out of some account that's in your name. Now, earnest money can come as a gift, so it can come from a family member, but definitely talk to your lender about that on how to best structure that, just to make sure that we can give you the proper credit and then we'll be able to accept it as a gift from a family member. So that's a conversation that you want to have with your lender. But that is something that could be acceptable. Just have that conversation with your lender before you were to do that. The most important thing that I can tell you today is never cash. Cash is never an acceptable source for an earnest money deposit. Quite frankly, is because cash is just not traceable. We can't trace exactly where cash came from. There may be lenders that will accept cash on a case-by-case basis. Just more often than not, you're going to see that that's not acceptable. So both you buyers out there as well as you realtors out there, just remember that cash is not something that's going to be acceptable for an earnest money deposit. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Again, my name is Greg Tanner with Nations Lending. My cell number is 843-206-6801. or you can visit gregtannermortgage.com. Thanks and have a great day.
This has been the Greg Tanner Mortgage Show, powered by Nations Lending. Don't forget to subscribe to the show for updates when we release new episodes, and you can contact Greg at 843-206-6801.